All right, guys, we are starting the video off inside because I want to show you is for all the doubters. So we got 31,116 miles. The biggest complaint I hear about Toyota 4Runners, and a lot of vehicles for that matter, are fuel mileage, MPGs. I'm going to tell you, I don't really think the MPGs are bad. Take a look at this. Since we got gas, since we refueled, we filled it up. It's a little under a half a tank now. And it's averaging 18.5 miles per gallon since the last fill up. Right there, that is since the last time I reset it overall for the truck. That's the last 53 hours of driving, 18.8 miles per gallon. And that's a steady mix of freeway and stop and go around town. So it's not bad fuel mileage. So here we are, guys. We are in the front yard. I figure why not do this here at home? Give you a quick walk around on the truck. We made a couple changes to it. Let's let you guys see if you spot them. Nothing major. Just some subtle things. It's a little windy today. And you can see the one thing we did, we had a license plate frame. Wife wanted a little retro TRD colors on it, and we did it on the grill too. Wasn't sure if you guys spotted that, but we've had it for over 2 years now. You see that there? We've had it for over 2 years now. As you've seen, over 31,000 miles. Truck has been amazing. Only issue we've had with the truck, and it wasn't a fault of the truck, somebody backed into my wife's rear bumper in a parking lot. So we had to have that replaced, the rear bumper replaced and painted. Shop did a pretty good job. I say pretty good because most people would look at it and say it looks great, but I was an automotive painter, so I'm a little particular. There's a couple small things I don't like, but overall it looks great. Color match is great. Finish is pretty good. Bumper's probably going to get more scratches and stuff as the truck ages anyway. So pretty good. It was a big dent here right in the corner. Some old guy just hit it right there, pushed it in all the way down to here. So it was here, and then this corner here was kind of crushed in. So it's got a whole new OEM bumper, and she's all fixed up. Other than that, it's got a couple other cosmetic things we got on it. Somebody nicked it in the parking lot. Very tiny there. Just looks like somebody brushed up against it with something right there. And then my son fell into this side with his bike. A tiny little scratch right there. And apparently some rock hit the hood on the freeway. There's a couple tiny little nicks right here. And it's a tiny, you can barely see it. But right there on that first nick, there's a tiniest little ding. Other than that, truck's doing well. Paint's holding up really well. I don't have any issues with the paint quality for 31,000 miles and a lot of freeway driving and road trips. I think it's got pretty minimal chips. There's a few on the hood, but that's normal. You're going to get that from rocks and stuff. I don't think it's excessive. I've had vehicles where it's excessively chipped, and this vehicle does not do that. I think the paint quality is pretty good on this 2022 Toyota 4Runner. This is the TRD Offroad Premium Package. So since the last update we did was 18,000 miles. We had talked about getting new tires and wheels. Not wheels, but new tires. We have not done that yet. That is on the books. In the next couple of months, we're going to get new tires on this thing. Probably going to go, my wife likes the Nitto Ridge Grapplers, and I hope you guys aren't getting killed with the wind noise. My wife likes the Nitto Ridge Grapplers, and I like the BFGs. She likes the BFGs also. Not sure which ones we're going to go with. I'll do a little bit more research there. I know they both drive extremely well, and they both look really nice. I think the BFGs are probably the best bet. The new KO3s should have a long life, and I think those are probably what we'll ultimately end up with. But the rest of the vehicle's holding up really well. It's garage kept, so we keep it washed. My hand hit the door with the key in it. Thought I was trying to lock it. So because it's got the passive entry, so you can lock it with touching that and unlock it with grabbing the handle. Other than that, yeah, the truck's been awesome. I haven't had any issues with it. I changed the oil on it every 5,000 miles. For the first 25,000 miles, you get some maintenance from Toyota. They'll do every 5,000. They'll do the maintenance, but they only change the oil every 10. So you'll get like 2 oil changes free from Toyota. So I would just let them do the 10,000 mile and 20,000 mile one, and then in between the 5,000s, I would do a drain and fill of the oil. When we just hit the 30,000 here, I wanted to record this video at 30,000 miles, but I had some delay with the holidays around, and we had family over, and I also wanted to do the full 30,000 mile maintenance, and I'll go over that with you, what that entails, so what you can expect and the cost of doing that yourself. Very easy job. You're going to need yourself a torque wrench. You're going to need yourself about 5 quarts of 75 W90 synthetic gear oil. And then that's going to be for the front and rear differentials. And then you're going to need 1.1 quarts of 75 weight GL4 gear oil. You can't not use GL5 gear oil in your transfer case. The reason for that is I know there's a lot of talk about that topic, and I'm not going to argue with you. You guys can use what antifreeze in there for all I care, but I'm just telling you what you should be using. Per the owner's manual, it's 75W GL4. Now, Toyota makes their own. It's super expensive. There's no reason to go and buy Toyotas. It's hard to get in the first place, and a lot of the dealerships are just throwing 7590. So that was a reservation of mine, having the dealership go and do it, because they're going to put 7590 that they're using in the differentials in your transfer case. And everybody says it's fine, it'll operate fine, it goes in at a 4-wheel drive fine. Well, yep, that is true, and it will work well. You won't notice anything. But if you plan on keeping the vehicle long term, just like a manual transmission has synchros in the transmission, the transfer case on the Toyota 4Runner, because it is a manual transfer case with the lever, it has one synchro for the on-the-fly from 2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive high shift operation. Those synchros, like in a manual transmission, are made out of soft yellow metal, so brass, copper. The GL5 gear oil that you put in your differentials, where it says GL5, that will actually eat away at those soft synchros and destroy them. It'll eat them away, like just literally eats up the metal chemically. So a GL4 doesn't have those additives in it, and it will not eat up your synchros. And the straight 75 weight is what it calls for from the factory. So I ordered right from Amazon. There's a couple brands you can get that make it. I ordered the liquid moly. I'll show you the bottle, actually, of the stuff I used. So that's what I use there. It's the liquid moly manual transmission fluid, 5100 Top Tech. And you'll see right there, it's API GL4. And it's just straight 75 weight GL4. That's what you want to use. As long as it says 75 weight and it's a GL4, not a GL5. If the bottle says on the back GL5 and compatible with GL4, you do not want to use that, because it has the additive package of a GL5, which is the stuff that's going to eat away the synchros. Now, the transfer case only has one synchro in it, so it's not like a manual transmission where you have multiple and you're using them a lot. So that's why people use the 7590 and they don't really notice a degradation in the quality of the transfer case or any issues for a while. But long term, you are going to have an issue with that synchro using that fluid. If you're only keeping it 2-3 years, and people don't care. They use whatever and they say it works for me. My grandfather used it, and yada yada yada, and that's all I use. Do whatever you want. I'm just telling you, that's what you're supposed to be using. Take my advice, don't take my advice. It's no sweat off my back. So moving forward from that, we did the air filters and changed the engine oil. So 30,000 miles, changed all the fluids in the vehicle except for the transmission, which you don't need to do until 60 or more, depending on how you use the vehicle. And that's something you're probably going to want to get done at the dealership. But changed the engine oil, air filter. I also changed the cabin air filter, and front differential, rear differential, transfer case. It's very simple. Toyota makes it very easy to do these things yourself. You're just going to need a torque wrench for proper torque specs. When you're closing them out, the drain bolts and the fill bolts. So you have your drain bolt right there. You can see it kind of sticking off the right rear corner of the differential. Drain it, fill it until it's the level's up to the fill plug. Same thing with the front diff. Is probably going to be your hardest one, just because the angle it is. You're going to need a transfer pump to read the pump that you put into your fluid bottles, and then just pump it in with the hose until it starts dripping out of the fill holes. So that's it. I mean, the transfer case was the easiest one, and what's nice about those liquid moly ones is they have a little tube that you can pull out, and it works as like a funnel, so you don't need anything else. And there's enough room at the transfer case for you to just stick that tube into the fill and hold the bottle up at enough an angle and give it a light squeeze and just squirt it right in. And actually, the transfer case, changing the transfer case fluid probably took me 10 minutes. It was the easiest one. Rear diff was pretty easy too. I did the front diff when you have to take the front skid plates off. So take them all off, change your oil filter, front differential, and then put the front back together. I would suggest changing the front diff when you do your engine oil, just because you're right there anyway. Air filter, like I said. So all in all, it cost me just about $200 for all the gear oil, the transfer case fluid, engine oil, and the oil filter, and the air filter and cabin air filter, about $200. And it could cost you more. Depends on what brand fluid you want to use. Some cost more than others. I use the Walmart SuperTech for the differentials. It's full synthetic. It's actually, from what I understand, Mobil makes the oil for a SuperTech. I don't use it in the engine. I used Castrol in the motor because I got it on sale. And it's a great synthetic oil. And I change it every 5,000 miles anyway. So you can use different brands fluids. Obviously, it's going to cost you more or less depending on that. So I use the Castrol in the motor, and OEM oil filter, and Fram air filter, Fram filter for the cabin air filter, and then SuperTech differential fluid, Motul, and the transfer case. Cost me $200 for all that stuff. Like I said, you're going to need 5 quarts of 75/90 for the front and rear diff, and you'll probably have about a half a quart left over when you're done. So if you have some sitting around on the shelf, some 75/90, then whatever you got, add to that. You're going to need, about 4.5 to 5 quarts though. So as far as that goes, that's it. Maintenance, so that's done. We're good for 30,000 miles. Obviously, other than oil changes, I'll do a drain and refill in another 5,000 miles. And then every 10,000, change the oil filter with the oil. Since most people change their oil filter at 10,000, I just do a full drain and refill at 5. Just keep fresh oil in there, and then I change the filter every 10. Makes it very simple. And you always have clean engine oil in there. So other than that stuff, cost of ownership has been putting gas in it, and that is it. Haven't had any other issues. Hasn't needed any warranty work, anything like that. It runs and drives like a top. As you've seen, that's, to me, good gas mileage for a heavy, mid-size, full-frame SUV that's as off-road capable as this thing is. I really can't complain. If you want better gas mileage than that, get yourself a soccer mom vehicle. This is not that. This is a very capable vehicle. It's versatile, and that's the reason why we bought it and why we like it. And it's durable. It's going to last. Easy to work on, stuff like that. A lot of factors why the 4Runner is great, and happy to report at 30,000 miles hasn't disappointed us. So interior holding up really well. The Softex, which is like a synthetic leather. It's not real leather. It's a man-made product. It's not vinyl either. It's a combination of products. It's synthetic, and Toyota calls it Softex. A lot of manufacturers use it. You'll see the truck inside is extremely dirty. So all the more proof that we do use this thing. It is gross, and it needs to be cleaned. The dashboard is dusty. Floor needs to be vacuumed. Seats have crumbs and dust and dirt. You see all the dirty feet that have been in here. We actually just took this thing on a very rough backcountry road. Way more washed out than the last time I went on it. I had some family in town from New York, and New York, obviously, it's impossible to go out, shooting if you have sidearms and stuff. So, or firearms of any sort. So we have an assortment of pew pews at the house. So we took my cousins out up in the mountains, went down a backcountry road, and did some target shooting. So they really enjoyed that, and we squeezed everybody in here. And so truck got dirty. Wife had the outside washed quick, ran it through the car wash, but the inside is yet to be cleaned. And I'm sorry about the wind picking up there, but you'll see TRD Off-Road Premium, heated seats. Basically, I think the TRD Off-Road Premium is a great package because you get just about everything the TRD Pro gives you, less the suspension. You don't get the Fox suspension. You get everything you see here comes standard. The Soft-Tech seats, says TRD and headrests. You get the simulated carbon fiber center console, steering wheel controls, keyless entry, passive entry, keyless, and keyless push start stop. It's got no start stop, so what I meant was the push button start. Doesn't have start stop on this truck, which is really nice. I hate that start stop feature on almost every vehicle. I turn it off every time I get into it. My new Ram has it too, but on this you do not get that. So if that's something that's annoying to you, you don't got to worry about it because it doesn't have it and doesn't make much of a difference. You got cruise control, you got 8-track, you got rear locking differential. Still have halogen lights in there, incandescent yellow bulbs. So actually we're going to replace those. It's going to be one of the things we're going to do. My wife requested some LEDs in there, so we're going to swap those bulbs out for some LED bulbs. But the truck is holding up awesome. It's a really good vehicle. I mean, the only downside to the 4Runner, I would say, is power. It's not exactly a rocket ship. It's not fast at all from a dead stop. If you're on the freeway and you're cruising, I mean, freeway speeds out here out west are, and I'm kind of hiding in the truck right now, it's because of the wind, but freeway speeds out here out west are 70 to 75 miles an hour. So you're going anywhere from 70 to 80 miles an hour on the freeway. And when you're at freeway speed, this truck just drives straight as an arrow, super smooth. There's no at that level. There's no issues with power. The lack of power on the motor comes in from a dead stop. So if you're towing a heavy load, which we'll get into, and accelerating from a stop, that's where you're going to feel it. Or just kind of merging into traffic. You don't need, you're going to need to give it a little more throttle than just, a slight touch of the throttle. You're going to need to get on it if you really got to beat traffic or merge in fast. Other than that, the power level is not a complaint for us at cruising at freeway speed. We've done numerous road trips in this vehicle, a couple of 2,000-mile road trips, and it's done very well. Fuel mileage is good. On road trips that are purely highway like that, we get about 20 miles per gallon. So you got power seats on both sides with the premium package. We did add the RB20 Slim. These are the Slimline side steps. I have a video about these when I put them on that you guys can check out on the channel. I could link it at the end of this one if you're interested. And those are great, holding up really well. And that is really all. We haven't done much to it. This year we're gonna do a couple things. We're gonna change the tires. Probably gonna change the shocks to kind of upgrade the suspension a little bit. I want to level out. Right now, driveway's on a big angle. I'm sure you guys can tell here. Driveway slopes down quite a bit, so it's hard to see that it doesn't sit level, but it does sit much lower in the nose than the back. So I think we're either going to go with the Eibach Pro Truck lift in the front and the rear, or I'm just going to do some Bilstein shocks, leveling shocks, the 5100s in the front, and call it a day. Not really sure yet. We do use the truck in a variety of conditions. We have off-roaded it plenty. We did a road trip, which I have a video on the channel. We did a road trip to Moab, Utah with it. And that was a very successful road trip. It was awesome. It fits all four of us in there with our luggage and all that stuff. It transverses and rides comfortably over a multitude of terrains. That's what's great about the 4Runner is it's comfortable, it's capable, it's versatile, and that's why we really like it. And in Moab, we did a variety of trails, and it was awesome. Got back in it, drove it home, drove it all the way to California. In between me having different trucks, I used it to tow some of my toys. You see we have a multitude of toys in the garage. If you don't frequent the channel, if you do, you've seen all this stuff before. But I loaded it on our 18-foot trailer, and we had the trailer full. We had 4 quads on it. My wife's, my kids' quads, and my Raptor. It was my previous Raptor, my blue one, but same weight. We had the trailer loaded. So with the trailer loaded, probably push in, I would say, maybe 4,000 pounds, and then plus us in it, a cooler, stuff like that, and we towed with it. It did surprisingly well fuel mileage too. I got about 15 miles to the gallon towing. We towed about 2 hours east of our home, and then rode all day, and then towed it 2 hours, west back home on the freeway. The downside would be it doesn't like freeway speeds while towing. So if you want to go at 75, 80 miles an hour while towing, this is not the truck for you. It was very happy at about 60 to 65, which is where I just kept it. And it towed fine. And quite honestly, when you're towing, you should be towing at slower speeds anyway, because it's just safer. But so it was very happy at that, and we got about 15 miles per gallon towing at that speed with that load. So I would not suggest towing more than that ever. I think that was the limit for this truck. I know it's rated at like 6,000 pounds or so, 6,000 or 6,500. Excuse me, but I would not tow more than that. I think that's a good number for this vehicle. And if you're buying, if you need something to tow a lot of weight, you need a 1/2-ton truck or a 3/4-ton truck. Then, mid-size SUV isn't going to be the vehicle for you. But for what it's done for us, versatility-wise, off-roading. My wife's daily. She's back and forth to work every day in it, taking the kids to sports, going out on, with the family on the weekends, stuff like that. It's our daily family hauler and commuter, and it's done off-roading and towing. It's done everything, and it's done really, really well. And to be averaging that kind of fuel mileage with all with different uses it gets, I think it's been great, and I have zero complaints with it. It's a very robust, heavy-feeling vehicle. It feels quality. There's no rattles. There's no squeaks. There's no noises. There's nothing weird going on with it. It drives as good now as the day we brought it home. And you can't say that about a lot of vehicles. Once you get to beyond 10,000 miles, they start squeaking, rattling, having noises, issues. This thing's been great. Front end alignment appears to still be straight. The tires are wearing even. We're going to get new tires here, though, and then we'll get the front end alignment checked just to make sure. So to keep our new tires wearing well when we get them on. Tires are a big investment. Probably going to go with stock size tires, and when we do upgrade them, and so if we get some BFGs, probably just go with the stock size. Just a stock size tire in a more aggressive tread pattern looks bigger. You know what I mean? These dinky tires, I say dinky, but they're not small. They're like a 32-inch tire. But with the tread pattern and how boring sidewall is, these Bridgestone duelers, they're just blah looking, so not that great looking a tire. Put some nice looking aggressive tires on there, give it maybe 1-inch lift in the front, and she'll be sitting right. And she's already does everything we need it to do, so that'll just amplify the off-roading capability of it in that aspect. With us having the Ram now and getting rid of the Jeep Gladiator, anytime we do some off-roading, this will be the vehicle. We don't have the Gladiator to kind of split time up with. And aside from that, in terms of mods, I think my wife she mentioned wanting to get rid of the silver bumper inserts in the front and rear and going with the black ones. You can order in black right from Toyota. That's what comes on the Pros, or just painting those black. I think ordering the black ones would hold up better long term than painting these, and they're going to get chipped and stuff like that. Aside from that, thinking about maybe doing a pedal commander for the acceleration portion of it. One of the reasons why it accelerates so slowly from a stop is just the programming of the drive-by-wire system, and that's what the pedal commander alters that signal, so that the way it's set up, like say stock, as you push the pedal down on your throttle, it doesn't simultaneously open the throttle body at the same rate of speed. It's much slower pace, so that's what gives you that slow acceleration from a stop. If you want it, and then when you get the pedal commanders, they have different levels. And all that does is increase the voltage signal to the throttle body. It intercepts it in between the pedal and where the pedal plugs in, and just helps the throttle body open at either 1-to-1 ratio or 1-to-2 ratio, or whatever the ratio is of pedal input to throttle body opening. That's the easiest way to explain it to you. It's a lot more complex than that, but that's basically what it does. And you can set it at different levels. Even slightly better, I think, would greatly improve the driving experience at, stop and go around town, slow stuff when you from a dead stop. You don't want it too much, obviously. You don't want to be, taking off like a bat out of hell, but it'll help a little bit. Especially like when you're towing and stuff. That's kind of when you want that little more bottom end, and it'll help with that. So, not that we'll be doing too much more towing with this thing, I don't think, almost ever, because we have the Ram 1500, and that's going to be the tow pig with the Hurricane motor in that thing. I have videos on that on the channel. Just pick that up if you're interested in one of those 25 Rams with the Hurricane engines. That thing's got 500 miles on it so far, and man, that thing has been awesome. So probably won't be doing too much towing, but we'll be doing some more off-roading. We'd love to go back to Moab. We'd like to go to Colorado and do some of the big passes there, the famous passes in Colorado with the 4Runner. That might be a nice family trip to do. So that, it's going to get some more off-road use. So the better tires will help. A little bit more ground clearance in the front will help. And then the steps, I know everybody's like, why are you putting these type of side steps on there? If you can do off-roading, you need rock rails, yada yada. I'm not rock crawling the thing. I'm not going over nothing. I'm not doing, crazy stuff with it. If I'm going to do crazy, gnarly rock crawling, I'd get a, Rubicon Wrangler or something like that. For the off-roading we're doing, some rutted out dirt roads, some rock stuff too. Obviously, we've done some gnarly trails, honestly, where I thought we was for sure going to hit something. And we didn't. We didn't hit the steps. We didn't hit the rear bumper on anything. It didn't hit the front end on anything. This truck is just the perfect size wheelbase where it really doesn't hinder ground clearance, and it gives you a lot of stability off road. It's like the perfect, almost like the 4-door Wranglers are just the optimal wheelbase. It's a very similar wheelbase to the 4-door Wranglers. So that's why it does extremely well off-road. It's just the perfect size SUV. And the steps haven't really hindered much, honestly. You're going to hit the bottom of your frame or the cross members on your frame before you hit those steps. Anyway, if you bottoming it out straight on or going to high center it. And we haven't yet to experience that. So if I ever needed to, we'll swap them out, put some true rock rails on there. But for the cost of them and for what we're using with it, these have been great for getting in and out of the truck for the wife and the kids. They've been awesome. I don't really need them to get in and out of the 4Runner, but they do, and it works out well. We're going to have to put some steps on the Ram too, unfortunately, just for everybody. Saves your seats too, so when you get out, you're not dragging kind of on the edge of them. But yeah, she's held up well. I covered most of the features of this thing in prior videos, so I don't want to be redundant, but I kind of want to talk to and speak to how well it's holding up. Cost of ownership, which we've touched on, and it's been minimal, just the maintenance, the required maintenance. So we will follow up with you guys as we get more miles on it. We'll also do a follow-up here once we update the tires and all that stuff, and show you guys the updated look with the new tires on it once we get them on. So I hope you guys liked the video. Hope this was helpful, and everybody's been asking for some updates. A lot of you have on the 4Runner, and if we still have it, because you guys know, if you follow the channel, that we regularly rotate vehicles. Well, at least I do. But no, yeah, we still have the 4Runner. It's been over 2 years now. We have all plans on keeping it. So Well, this thing should be on the channel for a long time to come, and we'll keep doing regular updates on how she progresses in terms of, you know, reliability and modifications. So this is Joe at Odyssey Offroad. Thanks for checking out the video. Hope you guys have a great day. Smash that thumbs up button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and we will catch you on the next one.